Want to bring you now to some breaking news. This is the NBC affiliate with a live picture in Las Vegas. We are just learning that multiple cars were reportedly set on fire at a Tesla service center early this morning. So as that investigation continues, they are setting up for their live shot. This is Las Vegas MPD Communications receiving information that several vehicles on fire in a parking lot, causing some damage to the property. In the meantime,
well, in case you haven't heard, the Trump administration, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel are not playing around. Unlike in the previous administration, when we had the Summer of Love and all of these types of things going on at the colleges and people just seem to disappear with nobody being held accountable. Not anymore. The FBI, the police, they have found the domestic terrorists that were targeting Tesla dealerships, specifically the ones in Las Vegas, where they used Molotov cocktails, weaponry shooting into the vehicles. Finally, somebody has been held accountable, and I'm going to introduce you to who this gentleman is, Mr. Paul Kim. And as you see right here in this reporting, in this video, I'm going to show you this quick article, but I'm going to show you some video clips and introduce you to who Mr. Kim is and what the police have, the information the police have on them that will astound you, especially with everything going on with the hearings involving PBS and NPR. Wait till you see who this man has been supporting and who radicalized this individual to do these horrific things that he did. But let's check out this article real briefly, then we'll get into the video clips. It says, man arrested in connection to arson attack on Tesla location in Las Vegas. Paul Kim, 36, faces a series of charges, including arson, destruction of property, and possession of an explosive device stemming from the March 18th attack. And that's really fast how they took action. We talk about March 18th. Today's the 27th, 9 days. 9 days. And as you can see, it has resist sprayed right across the front. So you got these radicals targeting a vehicle and American workers that support this American-based company when they're supposed to be all about green, right? It shows you how hypocritical and fake the Democrat Party is. They're literally lighting fires, which is messing up the atmosphere, which they say they love and care so much about. But check this out. A 36-year-old Las Vegas cinematographer will face state and federal charges following his arrest for allegedly throwing Molotov cocktails and opening fire on Teslas earlier this month, authorities said Thursday. Paul Kim was booked into custody on Wednesday and was charged with multiple state felonies, including arson and possession of an explosive device. Clark County jail records show detectives were able to spot Kim fleeing in a black Honda Elantra, and that helped them eventually identify and arrest him, according to Assistant Sheriff Dory Corrin of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. This case, quote, this case has been worked around the clock, Corrin told reporters on Thursday. Sheriff Kevin McMahill and FBI Special Agent in charge, Spencer Evans, have made it a top priority for our organization and put a tremendous amount of workforce behind it. So let's check out and see who Mr. Paul Kim is. This right here is a picture of Mr. Paul Kim. Now let's look at some of the outlets that this man was following. Anti-Capitalist League, BBC, one of the organizations that we found out the USAID slush fund was giving money to, subsidizing. The Associated Press, another left-wing radical outlet. National Geographic, PBS, who was literally on Capitol Hill this week testifying about the left-wing agenda that they push. 87 employees, all 87 Democrats, not one conservative or independent on staff, but yet they claim not to be biased. We got BBC again, BBC World Service, BBC News, and wouldn't you know, NPR. And then we got Netflix, who is also owned by that radical CEO that they have. So as you can see, this individual has been radicalized by these media outlets. But let's check out a little bit more about Mr. Paul Kim. This is him more so showing that, got that emo look. I don't know if you're trying to do the James Dean type thing. If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid, hit that like button. I'll never ask you for a cash out, and I'll never ask you for a super chat, but you hitting that like button, that is currency. It helps spread the video around. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe on the Real Politics Podcast. That's what we do. We talk real politics. So once you subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell and then select all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. There's another photo, but check this out. Now, these are the organizations that he's literally fundraising on behalf of. We got the Brooklyn Bail Fund, Minnesota Freedom Fund, Atlanta Action Network, Columbus Freedom Fund, Louisville Community Bail Fund, Chicago Bond, Black Visions Collective, Richmond Community Bail Fund, the Bail Project, NWCOM Bail Fund, Philadelphia Bail Fund, the Korchinski Parquet Family GoFundMe, George Floyd's Family GoFundMe, BlackLivesMatter.com, Reclaim the Block, and the ACLU. Now, you know, under the previous administration, with all of this information, they would have never let this come out and the public see it. Why? Because it is more evidence that they're radicalizing their base and turning these people into domestic terrorists. That's exactly what's happening. Look at, he's raising money on behalf of Black Lives Matter. This man's an Asian. And it's all because the George Floydification, as the Black Conservative Perspective puts it, the George Floydification of America, when they took a drug addict who was passing fake money. And it was unfortunate what that cop did to him, and that was wrong. But they had us all believing that he died from that. When we find out later through the medical examiner's report, he passed away from a fentanyl overdose. But the left used that to stimulate Black Lives Matter. They destroyed Portland. They destroyed Seattle. They destroyed Minneapolis. Governor Tim Walz's wife says she opened up the bedroom window so she could smell the city burning. These people are radicals. In Minneapolis, they literally burned down 3 police stations. Now, you can be adverse to each side politically, but when we bring violence into the equation, that is very un-American. That's like a third world country. But yet the Democrats, they always want to scream January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. But nobody in that crowd on January 6th killed an individual. Matter of fact, they were let into the Capitol. We saw it on video. These radicals are literally hurting drivers on the road. I just saw a video of somebody in traffic pulled a gun on a Tesla owner. And then we got this radical left-wing extremists shooting into innocent vehicles, lighting fires, having explosives. And for what? Because Elon and Doge is exposing the waste, fraud, and abuse. He's not taking anybody's money. He hasn't taken anybody's information. But the Democrat Party knows that that money has been the source of their party for decades. And if you notice, you don't see all the big protests around the country all of a sudden. You see them very small in isolated areas. Why? Because the money dried up. The money dried up. But all of the signs are made at the same place. The T-shirts, somebody has to pay to get those made, as professional as those are. And how do they all know to meet at a certain time and to chant the same thing? Why don't any of these people have a job? How are they surviving? Because they always do this during the middle of the workday. Who's subsidizing this? And once you follow the money and you find the source of who's subsidizing it, then we can break the back of the opposition and we can get rid of this lunacy that's tearing our country apart. Now let's check out the update from the Las Vegas police, who's going to share a little bit more information with us about Paul Kim and, you know, what happened with their investigation. So as we see now, Vegas Tesla attack suspect Paul Hyun Kim has ties to Communist Party USA and Palestine Action. Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Assistant Sheriff Dory Corinne, quote, a preliminary assessment of the suspect's social media activity indicates some very loose but self-proclaimed ties to the Communist Party USA social media group, as well as social media groups called Revolutionary Communist International, Hidden Palestine, Palestine Action, and a variety of other social media groups. So let's check out what the sheriff has to say about this situation.
But a preliminary assessment of the suspect's social media activity indicates some very loose but self-proclaimed ties to the Communist Party USA social media group, as well as social media groups called Revolutionary Communist International, Hidden Palestine, Palestine Action, and a variety of other social media groups. That is part of our investigation, is to dig further into it and to be able to determine additional motive and other potential concerns. At this point in time, the suspect was placed immediately on 24/7 surveillance by our specialized units to ensure public safety and preserve evidence. Additional evidence was collected as we continued our investigation, and the suspect was ultimately arrested yesterday evening. A search warrant was then obtained and served by the LVMPD SWAT team, which is by far one of the best, if not the best, SWAT teams in the country. They were able to do that safely and quickly. And as a part of their operation, we were able to conduct searches of 2 vehicles linked to the suspect's apartment, and we were also able to collect the buccal swab for DNA to be able to compare that to the DNA that we recovered from the scene. Our searches revealed numerous items of interest to include multiple rifles, a shotgun, a handgun, and miscellaneous gun parts. You can see a photo to my left of some of the items that were recovered. We also were able to recover ammunition in multiple calibers to include the caliber that was used in the crime. We also recovered numerous electronic devices, which our partners at the FBI are quickly analyzing. We also recovered a black gun belt with a pouch that had pink paint residue on it. You can see a photo of that to my left, as well as a black backpack with pink paint, face masks, and other articles of clothing that are consistent with the suspect's description.
So as you heard there, finally, they caught them. They're not messing around, and they're going to keep peeling back the layers and peeling back the layers, and they're going to start busting and exposing even more of these left-wing radicals. And listen, if you disagree with what the Republicans are doing, that's fine. Create policy. Deliver a message and show the people what you can do, what you plan on doing, rather than everything being orange man bad. And I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. Okay, if he's so bad, you hate him so much, give the people something else to be for. Because right now, Trump's numbers are soaring while the Democrats' numbers are in the toilet. The Democrat Party is at their lowest approval rating ever since they've been tracking it since like 1990, while Trump's is the highest it's ever been. So out of the two parties, one person is doing something right and the other one's doing something very wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as these left-wing radical extremists keep doing things like this, the conservative Republican MAGA movement will keep getting stronger and stronger, and the Democrats won't win another election for 10, 20 years. But I just wanted to bring you this fantastic update to let you know our government is working. And I know we've been sitting back saying, man, when is somebody going to be held accountable? They got a couple of those that had vandalized some Tesla dealerships before, but this one was the big one. This was in Vegas, and he caused massive damage and has explosive devices. He is one of many more dominoes that are going to be falling real soon. So stay tuned in. And if you've watched it up to this point, I greatly appreciate you staying in here watching this. And as always, if you haven't liked the video, share the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the podcast. And other than that, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. And I'm Brian Maxwell. I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.